The Right Honorable, whose reggae is unstoppable. Yake reggae yake will not be stopped. The Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Prime Minister. Karibu.
Your Excellency, President Uhuru Kenyatta, Margaret, the family of mzee yetu ambaye ametoaga Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, viongozi wote, wananchi kwa jumla. Nilisema jana ya kwamba tunasindikiza kiongozi mashuhuri katika taifa letu. Waswahili husema ati mti kuu ukianguka wana wa ndege huyumba. Maana yake mti ukianguka, ndege sasa kuna mahali ya kwenda. Mzee ameishi maisha mrefu, amekula chumvi. Kwa hivyo tunasherehekea maisha yake, vile yeye ameishi maisha ya kiutu na taifa letu lote ya Kenya. Amefanya mambo mingi zaidi. Nilisema mimi nilimwona yeye kwa mara ya kwanza nikiwa mtoto mdogo. Wakija kutembelea Jaramogi alikuwa amewaita nyumbani. Lakini kabla sienda huko, mara mbili nilikuja kumtembelea hapa 2018 April 12. Kuja hapa na Mheshimiwa George Haniri na Mheshimiwa Bruce Hamad Sharif Nasir. Akiwa hapa, kwa swali ya kwanza akaniuliza ati pole, na akaniambia pole nilipoteza kijana yako Fidel. Pili akaniambia nilikuja kwa harusi ya mtoto wako yule mwingine Junior. Alimwahidi yeye ng'ombe fahali na haja kuja kuchukua. Mwambie yeye aje achukue hiyo ng'ombe, bado yuko hapa. Sasa Junior atakuja kuchukua hiyo ng'ombe, mjue na wewe. Tukakaa naye hapo, tukapiga gumzo kabisa. Baadaye tukakuja naye nyama. Gideon na Likweko na kamketi. Ya pili imekuja mwaka jana. Ilikuwa tarehe 5 mwezi wa 5 mwaka jana. Nilikuwa niambia Gideon nitakuja. Sasa nilikuwa nimechelewa kidogo, Gideon anapiga simu, uko wapi? Nikamwambia I'm on the way coming. Tulikuwa na ndugu yangu Dr. Buru. Tumekuja tena, tukakuja mzee hapo. Na kana yeye akasema maneno mengi zaidi yale ambayo walifanya hata na Jaramogi. Kaniambia wengine walikutana na Jaramogi na Orengo pekee yake anajua hiyo maneno. Kuna mtu mwingine kama Jaramogi hajakufa. Sasa ile mara ya kwanza walikuja kule Bondo. Wakati huo walikuwa ni wabunge wa kwanza kuchaguliwa 8 katika ligi kuu. Sasa Jaramogi akawaleta pale wote na introduce kwa watu, akasema mambo mengi juu yao. Sasa mimi natakwambia nyinyi hii mambo ya tiga, ya jirafu. Jaramogi tena akaandika kwa kitabu yake. Na nilisoma jana. Akasema namna hii. Manake walikuwa kwanza ni mkutano kwa wananchi. We talked to the people of our first experiences in the legislature as their representatives. I said that the council was a huge forest, the deep-rooted trees. We had tried to shake the trees, but they were firmly rooted. We needed unity and the wholehearted backing of the people to pull them out. I painted a word picture of each of my colleagues in the council. Muliro, I said, was a sailing boat whose next direction it was difficult for the settlers to assess. Ngala was a young hippo who hid from his father, but went secretly to measure his footprint to that of his father. And on the day that he was satisfied that his footprint was equal to that of the parents, he challenged the father to a duel. Mboya, I said, was a rabid black dog that barked furiously and beat all on his path. While Oguda was a black dog that barks seldom but beats dangerously. Mate was a philosopher, while Moi was a giraffe, the long neck that saw from afar. I was myself called Mzee, the elder one. That is how Jaramogi described Moi, that Moi was a tall giraffe with a tall neck and that saw afar. Moi could predict what was going to happen in the future and warn them so that they became careful as they were confronting the imperialists. But they fought very hard at that time against imperialists. They were only 8, they were outnumbered in the Legico. But within a short time, they managed to get an increase in numbers to 14. They became 14, where the others were now added. And that way, they confronted the imperialists and fought for the release of political detainees at that time. Mr. Jomo Kenyatta and his people who were detained at that time. So these were really patriots. If you look at Nyayo, from a very humble background, you go to Sacho up there in the hills, look at where he came from. And he managed to come out from there and join the nationalist movement and become the second president of this country. It's a great thing. He came from poverty, just like Mzee Kenyatta also came from poverty. Jaramogi also came from poverty. So nobody can therefore talk about dynasty, talk about the family of Nyayo. What's the dynasty? What is Moi inherit? Moi struggled and died the way he died. These children are also just struggling with the Kenyans like anybody else. Just like Uhuru Kenyatta is also just a Kenyan. And Raila is also just a Kenyan. Well, why should somebody think that is more entitled to things in this country than Raila Odinga because he's son of Oginga Odinga? Or Gideon Moi because he's son of Moi? No, Gideon has a right like any other Kenyan to vie for any position that he wants in this country. We celebrated Nyayo's life because it was a rich life. It touched so many people in the right ways. I said yesterday, maybe we had a history with him. Love, hate. We eventually met, and we met here. He sent Mr. Chesire to go and look for me. Reverend Chesire. And we came with Jomo Mino. And we had a very long discussion here until we said we forgive each other. And we shook hands. That was the first handshake that I did here. Therefore, as we celebrate his life, we want to send him as a hero of our country. And he was also a Christian, and he has also been mourned as a true Christian. But it would not be right, because you saw when they went to Lancaster House, he went there wearing a monkey's skin, walking there, and the Wazungus looked at them and they looked strange with Jaramogi. And therefore, as we say bye to Nyayo, I will judge this. I must send him off as a true African and say, Yawa parulo lo wangetek, yawa parulo lo wangetek, ewoi gimicha mwemari gimodong tokir kigen. Hewoi gimisha maimari gimodong tokirkigen. Choge joy. 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 Joy.